In 1942, Japan ruled the Pacific skies. Their Zero fighters were light, deadly, and nearly untouchable. Allied pilots dreaded them until a strange new silhouette appeared on the horizon. Two engines, a twin tail, and a roar unlike anything the Japanese had ever heard. It was the American Lockheed P-38 Lightning, the fighter Japan couldn't outrun or outclimb. By early World War II, Japan's Mitsubishi A6M0 dominated the air. It was light, agile, and designed for long range. American planes like the P-40 and the Buffalo struggled to keep up. But American engineers were already working on something revolutionary, a fighter that would break every rule of design. In 1937, the U.S. Army Air Corps issued a challenge: build a fighter that could climb to 20,000 feet in 6 minutes and fly faster than 360 miles per hour. Lockheed's young design team, led by Kelly Johnson, delivered something the world had never seen: the P-38 Lightning. Twin Allison engines, turbo superchargers, counter-rotating propellers. It didn't just look different, it was different. The Lightning's first missions came over Europe, but its true legacy was forged in the Pacific. There, range mattered more than anything, and the P-38 could fly over 2,000 miles with drop tanks. It could escort bombers deep into enemy territory where no other fighter could reach. When the Japanese first met the P-38 in combat over New Guinea and the Solomon Islands, they were stunned. The Zero had always been the hunter, but now it was being hunted. Japanese pilots found that no matter how hard they climbed, the P-38 climbed higher. When they tried to dive away, the Lightning simply followed, faster, steadier, and deadlier. With two turbocharged engines, the P-38 could reach altitudes and speeds the Zero could only dream of. Its top speed, over 400 miles per hour. Its climb rate, unmatched. To Japanese pilots, that twin-boom silhouette became a symbol of dread. They called it the fork-tailed devil. It wasn't just fast, it was nearly impossible to hit. With concentrated 20mm cannon and 50 caliber machine guns in its nose, the P-38's firepower hit instantly, without bullet convergence. Unlike other fighters that fired from their wings, the P-38's nose guns created a single, devastating stream of fire. Japanese planes, built light for agility, couldn't withstand even a short burst. The Lightning turned American pilots into legends. Major Richard Bong, 40 aerial victories. Thomas McGuire, 38. Both became America's top aces. Both flew the P-38. To the Japanese, it seemed the Americans had built an unbeatable machine. April 18, 1943, the most famous P-38 mission of the war. U.S. intelligence intercepted Japanese radio codes, revealing that Admiral Yamamoto, the mastermind behind Pearl Harbor, would be inspecting bases in the Solomons. 18 P-38 Lightnings were dispatched on a daring 1,000-mile interception. They arrived at the precise moment Yamamoto's plane appeared and shot it down over the jungle. It was a mission no other Allied fighter could have completed. After Yamamoto's death, the Japanese high command realized something terrifying. The Americans had a fighter that could reach anywhere, fly higher, faster, and hit harder. The P-38 wasn't just a plane, it was a message. Japan tried to study downed P-38s, searching for weaknesses. Their best answer was to attack in groups, using vertical maneuvers and diving ambushes. But the Lightning's sheer speed and climb rate made escape almost impossible. By 1944, as the Allies advanced toward the Philippines, the Lightning had become a symbol of American air superiority. Even when newer planes like the P-51 Mustang arrived, the P-38 remained vital, especially in the Pacific, where its long range ruled the skies. When the war ended, Japanese pilots spoke with respect, even awe, for the P-38. They admitted they had never faced a plane quite like it. The Lightning had redefined what a fighter could be, not just speed and firepower, but endurance, innovation, and dominance. It was born from American ingenuity, tested in the world's most brutal air war, and feared by those who faced it. For the Japanese pilots of World War II, the P-38 Lightning was more than a fighter. It was the storm they never saw coming, the storm they could never escape. By 1945, the P-38 Lightning was no longer just a fighter. It was a symbol of inevitability. As Allied bombers approached Japan, P-38 squadrons escorted them all the way to the mainland. Japanese radar picked up those familiar twin-engine echoes, and morale plummeted. The sky that once belonged to the Zero now belonged to the Lightning. By 1945, the P-38 Lightning was no longer just a fighter. It was a symbol of inevitability. As Allied bombers approached Japan, P-38 squadrons escorted them all the way to the mainland. Japanese radar picked up those familiar twin-engine echoes, and morale plummeted. The sky that once belonged to the Zero now belonged to the Lightning. War wasn't just machines against machines. Every P-38 pilot knew that the enemy in his sights was another man with a family, a dream, a fear. In the deadly dance between Lightning and Zero, thousands never returned. Yet even amid the chaos, there was respect, an unspoken acknowledgement between warriors of the sky. While the Pacific raged on, the Lightning made history elsewhere too. In Europe, it flew photo reconnaissance missions deep behind enemy lines. Those twin booms carried not bombs, but cameras, bringing back the intelligence that would help end the war. The same aircraft that terrified Japan also helped liberate Europe. After Japan's surrender, captured P-38 wrecks were examined in disbelief. Japanese engineers studied its engines, aerodynamics, and armament, trying to understand how America had leaped so far ahead. Many concluded it wasn't just technology, but philosophy. Bold design, risk-taking, and a relentless push for performance. They realized the Lightning was born from freedom of thought, something wartime Japan had lost. When the war ended, newer jets like the F-86 Sabre took to the skies. The P-38 faded quietly into history, its thunder replaced by jet engines. But among pilots, even decades later, the Lightning's legend never dimmed. They remembered its power, its sound, and how it changed air combat forever. Today, only a few P-38s still fly, lovingly restored by enthusiasts and veterans' families. Each takeoff is more than an air show. It's a resurrection. When that twin-engine roar echoes through the sky, it's as if the ghosts of 1943 come alive again, reminding us of the men who flew them and those who faced them. Every generation of fighter since, from the F-86 to the F-22, owes something to the Lightning. It proved that speed, innovation, and impact, and daring design could rewrite the rules of air combat. For Japan, it was a humbling lesson. For America, it was proof of what imagination could achieve. And for history, the P-38 remains eternal, the thunderbolt that changed the war and the hearts of those who lived through it. Decades after the war, men who once fought to kill each other stood side by side, not as enemies, but as survivors of history. A Japanese Zero pilot stared at the P-38's silver wings, shaking his head with a smile. "It was impossible to fight," he said softly. "It always came from above." Beside him, an American ace replied, "You made us better pilots." Two men, once divided by war, now united by respect. The Lightning had outflown the Zero, but humanity had outlasted both. As the last surviving Lightnings soar today, they carry more than aluminum and engines. They carry memories of young men who dared the impossible, of enemies who learned respect, and of a war that reshaped the world. When that twin roar echoes across the sky, it reminds us that progress always comes from those who dream beyond fear. The P-38 Lightning wasn't just a weapon of war. It was a symbol of speed, innovation, and hope, a thunderbolt that still echoes through the skies of history.